this slide talks about waterfall projects. It talks about agile-based project. I was reading a stat from Ernst & Young, and the stat said 78% of the conventional projects in the stat was for 2019 lost slightly less than $1 trillion in investments. Just in RBC, when I joined them in 2007, they wrote off, right, or it was a sunk cost, $130 million program in insurance in 2017. RBC insurance became a sunk cost. Means they start following a vision, and they realized that this was not the right path. After spending almost $72 million of $130 million, they closed the project. It was a program, but they closed it. This is 2007 when I came to Canada from the US to execute this program. It got closed. Why? Because business realized this was not achieving the vision. Just like this money, all organizations every year close the project because they realized that they started a beast and this beast is not going to generate any value, and they shut it down. They continue to shut it down, right? So there is research that was conducted, and you will see that 29% of the waterfall projects fail and 57 are challenged. Challenge means stakeholders are not happy. The project get delivered, we dump these products on the customer, I'm not going to use it, you're giving it to me, I will not use it. Classic example, again, I'll give you an example from my own program in small business in RBC. In 2010, there were 78 mortgage calculators that were developed in last 7 years in RBC. Not even one being used. Look how many vendors worked on creating these different mortgage calculators in RBC. Not even one is being used. What kind of? So just because we deliver a product or a project does not necessarily mean that it generates value. Only 14% of waterfall projects have been considered successful. Imagine 86% of those projects and the amount of money that is being spent worldwide on projects. Be it NASA, be it any country in Asia, big giants in Asia, be it a project in Africa, be it a project in South America, they're all challenged, they get shut down, especially government projects. They start LRT construction right in front of us in Hamilton, they dig, and they stop. Is that not a waste of taxpayers' money? So classic example right in front of you, lack of vision, right? Whereas proven stat, why Canadian banking, all 5 banks built a consortium, said 2021 all agile projects, all IT projects will be agile. 2021, now it has shifted to 2022 because of the pandemic. All IT-based projects must be agile. Why? What is the reason? The reason is we will know very shortly when we start looking into the agile flow, right? The agile approach. So continue moving. Before we start here, I'd like to bring to your notice something very interesting. So the book that you will receive every week, because this is the agile course, the course will also be delivered in an agile fashion. Only what we need to achieve in a certain day is what will be provided. So we are not flipping through these pages that we don't need to. So this week you will receive a PDF file for the read that you need to do. And you are not going to creep this scope. This is the scope. Simplicity, right? Simplicity, the art of maximizing the work that should not be done. Simplicity. So you will keep the scope to what is being said. And look how interesting this read is going to be for you. This is what the read is. Initially, we started as the read says something like this, that initially, I am not quoting it, I'm just telling you what it is. Initially, we humans were food gatherers, wanderers. We'd gather foods. That was the first revolution. Slowly, we started settling down a little bit, right? And we started doing agriculture. Now we were not like nomads going around. We settled down a little bit. It continued for many millions years. This progression from food gathering to agriculture. We settled down here, but then started the industrial revolution, the third revolution, right? Food gathering, agriculture, industrial revolution started. Industrial revolution started. Now it has shifted again. In 2014, they said oil is not the most valuable commodity. Oil is not the most valuable commodity. In 2014, there was a shift. They said information, data is the most valuable commodity in the world, and has led to emergence and transformation or accumulation of wealth as never seen before, right? How does Elon Musk carve out $153 billion in a year? Never heard of before. Why? Because of using information right in front of you. So we are in the fourth revolution, guys. This is information revolution, and hence the shift in the world has started from industrial projects to knowledge projects. Agile works really well on knowledge-based projects where we know initially what we want to do, but we do not know what will happen in distant future. So the idea is not to create a big bang product. The idea is to create small little slices of the product. So the read is like this. It's not like a pinball guide. It's a very interesting read. It drives you into from food gatherers to information based. And guys, things have shifted. We are not in the industrial world anymore. We are moving towards the knowledge based projects. Then it talks about the difference between the knowledge based projects and the industrial projects, right? So it is not necessarily on the exam, but the book is helping you build the mindset slowly, right? The idea is to build that mindset. So keep that in mind. We are in the fourth revolution right now. Very interesting thing to think about sometimes, right? And how powerful is this information revolution? How powerful it is because it has led to emergence of Amazon, a service company. No, initially we used to think that, think about owning a restaurant and think about Uber. Think about owning a restaurant, infrastructure, staff, this, that, service, right? Everything taken care of, service. Service is knowledge based. So you don't necessarily, in this modern world, require capital for project. You need two things for a business. You need goodwill and information. Goodwill and information. Capital people can bring. If you have goodwill and information, capital will come, right? All knowledge-based projects are based on goodwill and information. Voice of the customer. If you are listening to the voice of the customer, you will deliver excellent products which will generate value, and your business will be up and running in no time. Keep this in mind. Simplicity, the art of maximizing the work that should not be done, right? Now, this slide talks about waterfall and agile a little bit. We're going to come and take a look at this slide later, at the later part. But what I said in the beginning to you, waterfall, requirement phase, followed by analysis phase, followed by development phase, followed by testing phase. Testing can have two components in it. The first component of testing is the QA phase done by the project team, quality assurance. And the second phase of testing is the UAT or BAT, user acceptance testing or business acceptance testing done by the business. Only when this takes place, Vivek Dinger says, I accept the product, I accept the website, and when Vivek accepts the website, the product goes into deployment or release. So the requirement passes the work to analysis, analysis passes the work to development, or in other words, falls here, development falls into test, test falls into deployment, the product is released. Sequential approach. Whereas Agile is about, let's just have a home page, and Vivek says, let's have a home page, guys, in the website in next 2 weeks, and give me my best herbal product. Best herbal product, one product, just give me these two. Ready, done. So the team goes through a requirement, the same thing, goes through analysis, goes through development, goes through test, deploys it. Once this is done in 2 weeks, the product is already in the market. As compared to this, which took 13 months, Vivek has pushed the product in the market just in 2 weeks by maximizing the work that should not be done, doing only that work that brings him and his product to the market. Then he says, he's the voice of the customer. He said, guys, you know what? Our product number 7, product number 9, and the new lip balm that I have got is selling like anything in our store. I want to bring it in. There you go. Product number 7, product number 9, product number 10, add it to the website. The website, now the portal is a little bit bigger. And this run continues, knowledge-based project. Suddenly what happens is, Vivek realizes that a new competitor has come, and they have come with something called a drink which has African sugar, agave, in it. Says, oh, that aspartame, that artificial sugar is not good, but this will be a really good product immediately. It is not a part of his initial vision, but adds that. He's able to do this when he's slicing and dicing the product and building this slowly, as compared to where Vivek gets forgotten after the requirements were captured in the conventional waterfall phase. So Agile is about value delivery and delivering product in iterations, and coming in front of the customer in no time. In no time, I want to be in the market so that I can start generating the value, the revenue, the value, right? Imagine Vivek's big, perfect product. He's thinking about this big, perfect product, which never comes into the market. And when it comes, it's just too late. Or he thinks about not a perfect product, but he thinks about a product that is meaningful to the clients, is minimalistic, but it generates value, right? So they say the idea of perfection is a gone idea. There is nothing like perfection. There is a process to perfection, and it continues. There is no perfect product because the needs of people are continuously changing. So we will skip this slide, not important right now. We're going to come back to this slide. So there is this agile principle of, sometimes we all feel what is increment and what is iterate, right? What is iterate and what is increment? What is increment and what is iterate, right? Now, if you see, iteration does not necessarily create, iteration does not necessarily create a shippable project. Iteration does not create a shippable product. Iteration can lead to the next stage, then the next stage, then the next stage, and then maybe shippable project, some product somewhere here. You can ship it now to the customer. But in increment, when you increment something, it is consumable. It is more consumable. But from exam standpoint, there are no questions in the exam, but it's just a concept. What does incrementing means? It is kind of like consumable. I can consume this here. I can consume it here, and I can consume it here. I cannot consume this. I cannot consume this right now. It only becomes consumable here. So incremental agile approaches could be iterative, they could be incremental, right? So that's what it means. It means pretty much the same, small slices of the product, and let's get to the end. So, as I said, and I asked the world the question that agile mindset requires culture shift. So today, if the leader or the product owner says agile is a great idea, they cannot go out there and say, let's do it tomorrow. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It will take some time. It will take some time because everything in the world starts with contact. It starts with contact, and in the end, it gets institutionalized. When the entire enterprise says adopts the product, right? Everything starts with a contact, and the journey from contact to institutionalization is a long, sometimes painful process. But organizations, because they want to acquire the agile mindset, they continue to convey the vision. They continue to work towards bringing the culture shift, because this culture shift is prerequisite to adoption of agile. And next slide. Says anytime. So change, very interesting slide that I found. Of course, takes time. It's like committing to an idea, right? Just because you have an idea, don't expect people to commit to that idea tomorrow. They are not going to commit to today. You have an idea here. That's not going to happen. This commitment is not going to happen. For an idea to become commitment or something to be internalized by your organization, it starts with contact, then awareness, then understanding, then developing a positive perception, then adoption takes place. But adoption is not sufficient for agile. There has to be institutionalization and internalization, right? This is the goal. This is where we want to be. We want to be here. We want to be here, right here. We want people's commitment, but there is some work that needs to happen, and that work is the culture shift. And this is how we bring the change, right? It's not like a cut. It's not like a cut or a switch that you can turn. It requires time for people to commit to an idea. Organizations put in the time, the work, the resources towards it to ensure that this idea becomes a reality. Sometimes it's a year-long process to develop a certain kind of culture in an organization. But if this internalization is going to take just too long for some of us, if the idea is going to take idea to adoption and adoption to institutionalization and to internalization, if it's going to take too long, then would the future be still too bright? Not for some of us, because then this will take place. Looking for work, a deployment script took my job. That's what Elon Musk is really good at. Artificial intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence is just the way to go. So very fun slide here. So this is one of the important things about Agile. Agile is not, this is not about doing Agile. It's about being Agile. As I continue to say, it is the mindset. It is the mindset, right? Develop the mindset. So the entire exam is not a process-based exam. It's a mindset-based exam. The certification is a mindset-based certification. The idea of Agile is being Agile. So all the projects that are being executed, they're being executed because the teams are being Agile. They are not doing Agile. There is no such thing like doing Agile, right? So this slide, embracing the mindset, how does that take place? So if you see, everything starts with tools, and processes. This is where we start things. These tools and processes, when people adopt it, when people adopt the tools and processes, they become practice. You know, when PMBOK guide started, just for you, when PMBOK guide started, the entire guide was based on tools and techniques right here. When these tools and techniques came together, they became a practice and they called it PMBOK guide. But what happened from PMBOK 5 to PMBOK 6 to PMBOK 7? What is the change? If you have read PMBOK 6, for example, Rahul, for example, Manish, Vivek, then we have all these other folks who have read PMBOK 6, and Hamza, who has read PMBOK 6 guide and passed the PMP exam at PMBOK 6. Of course, Windy, Kanwal, you have passed the PMBOK 6, PMBOK 5. Kanwal actually passed the PMBOK 5 exam. I think Windy also passed the PMBOK 5 exam. Kanwal, you were March 2018, right? 2018 or 2017?
2018,
right? When the exam was changing and you guys wrote it before 26th of March or something like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so that time, if you think about PMBOK 5 and 6, that guide, you had to read scope to understand schedule. For Hamza and Rahul and Manish and Vivek, the same thing. You had to read schedule to understand cost. You had to read cost to understand quality. It was a practice of tools and techniques together, because now if you pick up the PMBOK guide, which is still not in print, only we have it here, seven companies have it in Canada right now, PMBOK 7. This is a principle-based guide. What does that mean? You can pick up chapter 5 and you will still understand what they're saying. You can pick up chapter 4, there is no relevance. They are like principles and they all move together, right? Very easy to read. And it's principle based. These are the principles of project management, guys. Apply them, right? So practice becomes principle. But there's a journey that PMBOK had to take from tools and techniques guide to an integrated PMBOK guide. From an integrated PMBOK guide to destroyed. The guide got destroyed, PMBOK 6. Destroyed because it was attacked by people who had knowledge. That's why I said, acquiring knowledge is not sufficient in life. At some point of time, you got to detach yourself from knowledge and look at it and challenge the knowledge. When we challenge the knowledge, it becomes principled. And when principles come into picture, value system is created. And when value system exists, is then mindset evolves. So mindset is not an event that takes place. Mindset is never an event. Mindset is a state, a journey, and it does not exist. It continues to evolve. There is no such end point to mindset. And that's the best thing about Agile. This mindset can continue to grow and grow and grow. And I'll tell you why. Because Agile is based on only 4 core values. Just values. So Agile is here, already here. So organizations got a standard or Agile with values. Agile does not have a standard like PMBOK guide. That's why PMBOK guide, people said it's so complex, this and that. But now if you pick up PMBOK 7, and if you wanted a copy of it, you could come and pick it up from our office. I don't know if copies lying around right now. But it will be good for you to take a look at it for some of you. It's not in print right now, right? So if we had extra copies, I could give it to some of the people who did PMP with us. But I'll have to check if I have extra copies. So there you go. Great slide to look at. It's a value-based. Agile is values-based. And there are 4 values. There could be one example. We will get there. We'll some of the next slides. Now, this is, again, taking a look at this. Agile mindset, right here. This Agile mindset is about 4 values. 4 values. From the 4 values, 12 principles have originated. And from these 12 principles, various practices have come. So if you take a look at, we'll come back to this slide after we take a look at this. So this is Agile. And some people, can you guys still see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what is Agile. Look, this is how Agile. Agile is values, 4 values plus 12 principles written down on a paper, and they were created by 20-25 people who were like-minded, who thought that Waterfall was not delivering what they needed to see. There was a need for a new way of developing products. And during that time, they sat together. They had their first meeting, which failed. In the second meeting, sitting in a resort in Utah, in the US, they came up with these 4 values and 12 principles. So the 12 principles came out of 4 values. So they just wrote down 4 statements. As I said, let us, based on these 4 values and 12 principles, start developing products. And what happened was, someone out there said, I am going to use these 4 values and 12 principles, and I will create a methodology or approach called Scrum. Someone else said, you know what, guys, I will use these 4 values and 12 principles, and here you go, we have something called XP, Extreme Programming Method. Someone said, guys, these 4 values and 12 principles, look what I came up with. I have something called Kanban. Said 4 values and 12 principles, guys, look what I created. There's a new approach, DSDN, not important from ACP. Then someone said, guys, look, Scrum, XP, Kanban, DSDN. But look at this. Feature-driven development. Here you go. We can develop using some features. They said, right? They continue to evolve these different practices. So these practices that you see here, or you will hear about, that my project is a Kanban project, my project is a FTD project, my project is an XP project, my project is Scrum project, are all based on a mindset. The mindset that we demonstrate based on the 4 values and 12 principles. So what is this mindset? It's the 1 page. 1 page has been written, and this 1 page standard. So you can say the 1 page standard, or I like to say it, the manifesto. The Agile Manifesto is not a pinball guide of 780 pages. Agile Manifesto is a 1 page item. On top it says 4 values. At the bottom it says 12 principles, based on which they have developed different approaches. Keeping in mind the mindset, right? So now when you take a look at this, initially in Utah, when they sat together, they documented 4 values and 12 principles, and they made it an open source. They published it out to people. They said, guys, here you go, we can use this idea of these 4 values and 12 principles, and we can develop our products. We can develop our products using this. And different folks came together. For example, Scrum Alliance said, here you go, I have Scrum for you. Someone said, here you go, I have Crystal for you, DSDN for you, XP for you, Kanban for you. Everyone created a different approach. But everything, whether it was Kanban, it aligned with that 1 page, 4 values and 12 principles, right? 4 values and 12 principles. So we will take a small pause here, and what we'll do is we'll stop the recording for a second.
This conference will now be recorded.
So let's start with Anmol. First question is for you. Is Agile a practice?
No, it's a mindset.
Very good. It's a mindset. Absolutely. Spot on. Let's go to Sandy. Sandy, 1 core principle in Agile is simplicity. True or false?
That's correct.
That's correct. Simran, what is simplicity?
It's minimizing the work that should not be done. Like maximizing the work that should not be done.
Minimizing the work or
maximizing the work that should not be done.
Very good. Maximizing the work that should not be done. Absolutely. Simplicity. And you can write down, this is one of the principles of Agile. This is how simple Agile is. One of the principles of Agile is simplicity. Maintain simplicity, right? Look, it's not like a 50-page document on simplicity. Simplicity. Whatever approach you come up with, it should be very simple. That's what it means, right? Agile enterprise implementation would require cultural shift. When I say enterprise implementation, is when enterprise-wide organization will say that we should adopt Agile, it will not be turning a switch. It will require to be long process, but worth spending time on. Hamza, is this true or false? True or false?
True.
It's true. Now, next one is, what are Agile values? Something that we will come and answer very shortly. I'm not going to answer it. I'm not going to show you the slide. I want you to come up with based on the scenario I'll present to you, because the goal is learning. The goal is not to present you a slide. I want you to think and come up with it with me, right? Okay. What are Agile values? Question mark. We will resolve it together. How many values are there? So Sandy, how many values are there?
There are 4 values.
Good, good. Just 4 values. Very good. Let's go to Harleen. Harleen, how many principles in Agile?
12.
12 principles. And Arsalan, is it Gazwan? Gazwan, one of the principles is? Sorry, one of the principles is? I just said one of the principles of Agile was listed here.
Sorry, I was muted. One of them is simplicity. I mean, this is one of them. There are 12.
Yeah. All right. So we talked about, next one is for Larissa. We talked about 2 approaches to product development. What are those 2 approaches that I talked about?
Waterfall and Agile.
Very good. Waterfall and Agile. Awesome. Very, very good. Next one is for Manish. Manish, Agile values and principles together form the Agile Manifesto. Is it true or false?
Yeah, this is true.
True. Awesome. And the next person here for us would be, let me do here, move the cursor down a little bit. Venkatesha, next question is for you. Which is the most structured and rigid approach? It's not there. We didn't. So Agile has various different approaches. What are the different practices of Agile that I talked about that are based on 4 values and 12 principles? I talked about these different practices. I said, look, they all came out of these 4 values and 12 principles. The picture that I created, picture that was there. You're on mute, Venkatesha.
Sorry, Hemant, I was talking on mute. Yes, you talked about the Scrum, Kanban, and
Very
XP.
good. Absolutely, all those different approaches, they have evolved from Kanban. We'll start with some of the next quizzes with Kumar, and we'll start from the next time when the next questions come. We'll start from there. So Kumar and we'll go downwards from there. So there we go. Great. Look, we spent about 2 hours. Everyone answered the questions. Everyone is listening. This is what we want, right? That learn right here. Why do we need to go home and study when we can just nail this here, right? Okay. All right. So let's look at the next slide. Next slide is talks about the journey to ACP. This is our journey that we are taking to ACP. So again, if it is Agile, why are we going to use the conventional philosophy of learning? We are going to sprint to ACP. We are going to slice and dice ACP. We are going to do this in a way that it has never been done before, right? We're going to use the Agile mindset to complete this. Every morning we will wake up and we will make a Kanban board, right? This is one mindset that I started developing with my team. My team in India, actually, there are 82 people right now that support my immigration business and other things. half of them are high schoolers, right? But everyone creates in the morning a Kanban board about the task that they have to complete. And they decide what is important for me to sustain this business, what is important for them to sustain their job. They decide that together. They do it on their own. Kanban board, the philosophy, right? It is so explosive that if you use it in your life, you will stop watching 3 hours of TV. You'll say, this is not important, I think. They got better things to do. I don't have a job right now. I gotta change my career in the next 5 years. This is not gonna help me, right? You start shifting, your mind starts shifting every day. And slowly, suddenly you realize that you have internalized this. This has the way of your life and key to self-fulfillment. This is key to, so step one, we'll match, there are 7 chapters in this book. 7 very easy chapters, right? First chapter is Agile Principles, all little bit about Scrum, little bit about Kanban. What is Kanban? So in the exam, they don't test you about what is Kanban. They'll just say, what is the philosophy of Kanban? What is the philosophy of Scrum? Right? Simple concepts. So don't take a deep dive here. The idea is to develop the mindset, right? First, we'll master those in next 5 weeks. That's our goal. Second, we will have a sprint, but a very fast sprint. This is not going to be a sprint where, oh, you know what, I'm going to do it. There will be accountability that will be set. Every day in the sprint, there will be a 15-point touch point among us, right? We are running this course like sprint. There will be stand-up meetings every day for 15 minutes when we are in this. Everyone will have to talk about what did I do yesterday? What did I do today? And are there impediments or hurdles I'm facing? This stand-up meeting will take place when we get to sprint. Every morning, everyone will huddle into that call and we'll start our day like that, right? So this is my goal, to establish that for this course. Step 3, will be certified. The goal is not certification. The goal is stepping back, enjoy the certification, step back and think about what are my takeaways for my career, how I'm going to leverage it, how I'm going to progress further. What am I going to do to my resume to move to the next level now, right? That is our goal from this course. So what are the 7 chapters that we are going to go over? The first chapter talks about the 12 4 values and 12 principles. All the 120 questions on the exam have been designed from these 12 principles and 4 values. All scenarios come from those 12 principles and 4 values. That's it, right? You know the mindset, you will answer the question. So you don't have to learn ITTOs, processes, and this and that. It is the mindset, right? Click mindset. Oh, this question, it talks about simplicity. There is a challenge here. Team is working on so many things. They should prioritize right now. That's the answer, right? So application of those 12 principles. So first, second, I said Agile principles are all about value to the stakeholder. So value delivery is all about how do we prioritize our requirements of stakeholder. That's the chapter, right? Third is engage your stakeholders. Like Vivek Dinger got forgotten after he provided the requirements. The team in Mexico never called him. Engagement of the stakeholders is so important, and understanding their needs is so important. That chapter talks about stakeholder engagement. If you have read your PMBOK guide well, this chapter is like a piece of cake for you. So for all those folks like Akshi, Kumaran, who are already PMP certified, this is going to be like a piece of cake, this chapter for you, right? It'll be easy. So then it is team performance. How do we make our teams high performing? 2 important concepts will be discussed here in the entire exam here. Those 10-15 questions are about self-directing and self-organizing team. Project manager is pushing the requirements on the team. This is wrong. Project manager should not do it, because this team is a self-directing team. They should resolve their issues. The team is trying to resolve the issues, but they are not able to resolve the issues. Project manager should support this, because the team should do this on their own, right? So look, conventional mindset, project managers to immediately engage so the project does not get delayed. No, support this, encourage them to do this. This is good for them, right? Now then there is adaptive planning. Our projects go like this, moving, and we are not watching outside as if we are running in a vacuum, as if it's a vacuum. Project is a vacuum. You can't execute a project thinking that it is insulated from external influences. We don't run our projects like that. Our projects are being impacted every day by competition, by by market conditions, by regulations, by political situations, by social need. But if we don't watch out for these things, the products that we create will not satisfy anyone's need. Remember that projects do not run in a vacuum. Good facilitators, coaches, agile project managers, or generally a project manager from a conventional approach continues to watch the internal or external environmental factors, right? So this chapter talks about adapting and planning in shorter sprints so that we continue to deliver the value. If market changed, we also changed our product, right? A long time ago, I went for an interview and said, what are your core strengths? They asked me, right? I said what I said, but in the end, I said, understanding of competitive forces that shape my industry is one of my core strengths. The person who was interviewing me probably got coached by me right there, right? Whenever I went into the interview, I coached people right there because sometimes they were not fit to interview me because I was way beyond their expertise. I have mostly been beyond people's expertise when they interviewed me, right? Because I was progressing slowly. So you become a power when you say things. So look, what did I say was I always watch internal and external factors. I don't understand. Things can be in vacuum. Understanding of competitive forces that shape my industry is classic agile for you, right? Problem detection and resolution. You detect a problem, resolve it. How do you do that? Because you make your team co-located. There is no wasting of time. There is no wasting of time in communication disconnect. Co-located team or jointed teams, interdependent teams, even if they are distributed. Because in current world, teams are distributed, but we keep them in such a way that they are able to confront each other and come to some sort of conclusion together. So problem detection and resolution is a chapter, and philosophy of agile is improve, improve, improve. Don't just go out there and create a big bang product. Improve slowly, run in slices, right? And improve, continuous improvement. How does agile achieve that? By doing retrospection. So what I just said to you right now about the 7 chapters are the principles of agile. Continuous retrospection, consistent, sustainable pace of development, quality checks. So we'll go over these principles shortly, but in the meantime, this is our plan. This slide is important to you. This is your roadmap, right? So our goal is today is Sunday 28th. Our goal is to be certified by April 15th maximum. Keep that in mind. Remember the future, right? Don't forget this. Don't let this not become a lingering pain, right? When we get here to sprint, I want us to get into the mode of a stand-up. So it will not be like a normal course. Then it will be like an agile project. We'll learn agile together, right? We'll know the philosophy of agile. So tomorrow when you go for an interview, you don't feel like I don't know how to function and this and that. I have a certificate. You will exactly know what happens in an agile role. Good. Does everyone agree with this?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Right? It will be good. It will be a very good experience, a different way of doing a course, a collaborative course, a course where there is mutual learning that happens, a course where there is excitement, there is passion, and we all together continue to remember the future, right? Let's continue to remember the future so that we don't have to postmortem when we get to the future. Most of the people in the world, when they get to the future that they thought was the right future, had to stop and postmortem because they failed. So let's not get there, right? Remember the future. So there's another interesting term that I'll talk to you about. So Agile Manifesto, as I said, 17 people came together in Utah. First time they failed. Second time in Utah, they put together 4 principles, right? They put together 4 principles and 12 values on a sheet of paper, and that became the manifesto. Manifesto is nothing but Liberal Party before the elections comes up with, we will do this, 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 because there is value in this. And people choose their government based on that manifesto. Similarly, organizations have also adopted a certain practice like Scrum, Kanban, evolved from these 4 principles. And so what are they saying? We believe in Agile Manifesto because based on that is what we execute our project. What practice we use, whether it is Scrum, whether it is Kanban, whether it is XP, extreme programming, whether it is rapid application development, whether it is DSDN, whether it is crystal methods of development, whether it is any other method that may exist, feature-driven development, test-driven development, whatever method that may exist, it is irrelevant. What is relevant is the mindset that comes from 4 values and 12 principles, right? So there we go. So we all know now that Agile is a philosophy. Different approaches or practices have been created that leverage that philosophy, right? The overarching umbrella called Agile. So sometimes when people say Agile, they think they talk about Scrum. That's not what it is. Scrum is a small little component of Agile, the umbrella, right? Okay. So there we go. We are going to here in next 20 minutes. I'll present for about 15 minutes, and then together we will come up with the 4 values and 12 principles, right? This will do this together. So I want you to listen to me very carefully. You know, in our 6th grade, we were in the English exam. They will give us a paragraph and they'll say, answer the questions below. You had to read that and answer some of the questions. So right now, it's like a read for you that I'm giving you. And you are writing down important points from there. I want you to write down important points on every statement that I'm making. Every statement is going to turn into a value or a principle. So I don't want to read it to you. I want you to come up with it. I want all of us to come up with it together, right? Just like how those 17 people who sat in Utah came up with, right? So let's present to you. Next, I need your attention for next 30 minutes, then we'll go on a 45 minutes lunch break. So next 30 minutes are extremely important because we are going to go over this, right? So let's enter a slide, and let's go here. And we are going to go back to our subject, Vivek Dinger again. We're going back there, right? So what happened there? Vivek Dinger had a great idea. He had a great idea. The idea was to showcase his company in the digital platform. Up till now, he's got 17, 18 stores around Canada. Time has come to leverage this marketplace that's available to him, which transcends the geographical boundaries, right? Anyone can buy now. Anyone can buy his products. He wants to showcase that. So the idea, a great idea, starts, and Vivek starts with a requirement phase. Vivek meets his stakeholders in the company, captures their requirements, appoints someone who starts capturing these requirements. They go to Kumaran, they go to Venkatesha, they go to Kanwal, they go to Akshi, they go to Hamza, they go to Fadwa, they go to Nikhil, they go to everyone, and they start collecting their requirements, right? 2 months have passed. At the end of this requirement phase, what comes out is a 20-page document called the business requirement document, or simply the requirement document. So Vivek right now has spent almost, there's a business analyst who's working capturing these requirements, is charging money. 2 months have passed. almost 20K plus 20K for project manager has been spent. $14,000 have been spent and cover what has been achieved with $40,000.
BRD came out of it, not a tangible product though.
What is the BRD? Is it a document?
Sorry?
A document came out? A document
Yes.
came out covered?
Yeah, document.
So guys, when I said you will listen and you will write, so you will think right now what's happening and you will write down something. For example, no value got delivered, a document came out. Or in other words, a comprehensive document get created. But does Vivek, does your customer need a comprehensive document? Is this document going to sell your products?
No.
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 So what came out is a comprehensive document, right? There is no working system. Is there a working system ready in 2 months? Would you not want a working system to be there?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
The first value of Agile is working software over comprehensive documentation. Value number 1, working system over comprehensive documentation. Whatever work you do in the world, whether you're building a brick or whether you're building an LRT or whether you're building LRT can be done agile. You can create it in segments. That's what people do. They don't want to wait till the 15th LRT. They create segments, stations, and make it operational. Then they move to the next segment, make it operational. Why? Philosophy of Agile. The entire product does not need to be built sometimes for value generation to start taking place. Otherwise, so look what happened. So what is the first principle of Agile? First value of Agile, comprehensive document, working system over comprehensive documentation. So Nikhil, I want you to write this down on a paper with a bold marker. Working system over comprehensive documentation. Okay, Nikhil? Okay, so Manish, you can write it down on a nice paper. Working first value, write values, and the first value, working system over comprehensive documentation. Or let me do this. Let me write this here. So I'll write it for everyone. There we go. We'll say Agile Manifesto contains values. And look, the first value, when these 17 people sat together, they said, guys, this documentation is such a pain. The only thing they feed us is the documentation, and they charge $2 million sometimes. Money is burned. Clients have nothing. The frustration, right? They wrote down one value, working system over comprehensive documentation. Wouldn't it be nice to have a working system over these comprehensive? Let's just continue moving on the same path now. Now Vivek gets this. Up till now it's fine. Organizations have quite a lot of money, right? So requirement phase is here. A business requirement document is created. Then starts the analysis phase now. The second phase has started. Sometimes it's also called analysis and design phase. The second phase has started. Now what happens? Vivek thinks now maybe my website will be ready. No, it's not so easy. The work has been passed to Mexico right now. Now the team looks at these 74 requirements that are there in this requirement document and does the analysis. Vivek has the budget earmarked $1 million, and this should be ready in 6 months. That's the budget that has been earmarked. The team in Mexico looks at 74, does the analysis, and tells Vivek that out of this, we'll give you homepage. We will give you those 62 product catalogs that you sell right now. We'll give you those 62 products, right? And out of those 62 products, some of them don't even sell. It's like a menu in Hakka Chinese. You know, sometimes you see the website, they have these products, but they are not selling. You go to a Hakka Chinese restaurant, you buy fried rice and you buy egg fried rice. What does that mean? Nothing, zero. Then there's a chicken fried rice, then it's a chicken and egg fried rice. And the menu, if you read the menu, you go, what the heck is going on here? But it all tastes the same actually. But you just fried rice, you'll see in Hakka restaurant, oh my God, right? Catalog is so huge, value is zero. Value is literally zero. So 62 products have been put in there. Homepage, about us page is there now, included. Out of these 74, 62 requirements included, about us, contact us, chat, etc., 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 and some of them are excluded, which will not be delivered. Right? So look at this. Vivek was thinking, and this has taken another 3 months. So 5 months have already passed out of 6 months. What would happen to this sponsor? And sponsor is completely disengaged. But there are 5 people working on the project. They didn't spend 40K now. Now they have spent it. They have spent another 300K. 300K plus 40K. $340,000 have been burned of organization. This is the true reality of an organization. So many people are working. What is the value? Zero. Zero value. For what? No system, but comprehensive documentation. Documentation, documentation, documentation. Like in Hindi movies, they will say, if a poor person enters the court system, they say you only get a date, and then you get a next date, then you get a next date, then you get a next date, and the poor person dies, right? So there's a movie, it says date after date after date after date, but in a court date, then a court date, then a court date, the poor person dies, there is no value. The judgment never came. Agile seeks judgment for the customer. That is the philosophy, right? Seek judgment for the customer. This is not judgment. This is not judgment with Vivek right now going on here. So 6 months have passed, almost 6 months have passed now. They have now done analysis and they have created another document called maybe a design document. Let's just call it a design document. Has been created, right? Now, Vivek has also been bound into a contract right here. So what is happening right now? Is Vivek engaged? Is Vivek engaged in this process of analysis? Is he engaged? Vivek, are you engaged right now?
No, I'm not.
You've been left behind.
Yeah.
But he cannot say anything because he's halfway through. He has burned 60% of his money and he has signed a bloody contract of $1 million. If he pulls out, he has to pay them $400,000 to get out of it. So he's thinking maybe there is a miracle that's about to happen, right? Maybe I'm going to squeeze out $200,000. I'll put it aside. Now Vivek has already built a contingency that this project is not finishing in $1 million. This is definitely going into 1.2, 1.3. He's finding out finances for the projects because the contract is bound. Just like when you lease a car, and even if you don't need the car after 3 months, if you return it, you will pay for the whole lease. That's what has happened now. So the second value of Agile is there engagement, collaboration with Vivek? No. And there's a contract. So second value, when these 17 people sat in Utah, they wrote down, they said, we will believe from here on in customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Second value emerged. Collaborate with your customer. Don't forget about them. We collaborate with them in the requirement phase, early phases. After that, we forget about them, but we will continue to collaborate with our customer. We'll never forget our customer. We will, and contracts will be short-term exam question. Comes from here. Agile contracting is not like fixed price contract, cost reimbursable contract, time and material contract, right? For people who do PMP, this resonates here. Short term, if you don't perform, I'll kick you out, right? I'll pay you nothing for no work. This is the Agile contract. Pay you nothing for no value. Pay you nothing for any addition if the additions are because of market change, right? I'll remove some items because, so second value of Agile that emerged in that meeting was customer collaboration is very important in product development over contract negotiation. Can you guys feel this? Right? How Vivek's pain. So these guys, when they were sitting together and brainstorming, the first time when they failed and the second time when they converged, they all agreed on this. They said, how about a methodology? So it must have been like this, 20 years. How about a methodology where we give our customers working solution quickly instead of them waiting 3 years? How about a methodology where business owners feel connected with the product, right? The voice of the customer stays alive over binding people into a contract and then failing to deliver value, right? Number 3, and let's move on with our story. Now, after 6 months passing, $340,000 burned, the Mexican analysis team has passed it on to the development team. Just now, when Vivek thought the pain is getting over and there is a magical wand in development team's hand, he didn't know that the development team for every requirement will ask 20 questions, right? IBM's classic story, when IBM comes into RBC, when IBM starts consulting with Loblaws, when IBM goes and starts consulting with City of Hamilton, this is their classic story. The classic story is squeeze money from the client, right? Just like a lawyer, just like a divorce lawyer does not leave you until and unless you don't have money. Just like that, IBM is like a divorce lawyer. Never engage them. If you will engage them, they will take everything from you before they give you something, right? Simple philosophy. Development starts just when Vivek is thinking everything is good. Here you go. Development team has taken 4 months. The team size has increased to 16 now. Vivek is now burning 500,000 a month, right? Otherwise, this product cannot be. I think he can kick them out. But now it's so many times, it's like he's financed the project, taken a line of credit. That's what organizations do. They don't have money lying around. Sometimes they tap line of credit to execute projects, right? They actually tap my money. So there's continues for 4 months, and then website is ready, homepage, about us page. After all this process of 17 months, the website is ready. The project manager from Mexico has now engaged the IT team, QA team, quality assurance team has come, and they have started testing. They start testing. They're looking at the requirement. They're saying homepage is here. Suddenly a defect comes. They send the defect back to the development team. They fix it. Time is going. Another 1.5 months have passed. But one fine day, the defect team, this QA team says, everything is good. Everything is good. Vivek doesn't have smile on his face anymore. He's burnt a lot of money. The project cost has doubled on him, right? All this time, he has been getting business requirement document, design document, technical design document, quality assurance document, test summary report, this report, that report, nothing but a report, right? Suddenly, development team says, don't worry, Vivek, here you go. There are FAQs coming your way, job aids coming your way. Do you want them? Because we charge some more money for that. This is the additional thing we can give. We package really nicely for you in a Word document. We'll give you job aid, we'll give you manuals, we will give you guidelines, we'll give you this, that. Now Vivek is like, man, these, I have to kick them out. I would need these knowledge documents too. So another spends another $100,000 on that. It's just like upgrading your house when you go to Mattamy Homes, right? Testing has been completed. Now Vivek comes and with his team to do UAT, user acceptance testing, or business acceptance testing, whatever you want to call it. And during this time, Vivek looks at the website, says, this is not what I want. I wanted homepage to be here in the website. I wanted who even builds login on the bottom right? I wanted it on the top, right? He says, look at the chat, is so ugly. Business owner, right? Looks at it, this is an eye for design. what the heck did you guys do in last 17 months? I think you were executing my vision. You just gave me a new vision here, right? So defects. Another month has passed, but whichever way, this product is so inferior. Competitors have a great product, but because he has burned so much money, Vivek accepts it, says, I'll just kick these vendors out, but let's just bring the product, we'll improve it, we will get the work done, and this project gets deployed in 21 months. 21 months is what it took. Problems, there was comprehensive documentation over, there were comprehensive documentation over a working system. The problem, there was a contract that bound me to this work, in spite of the fact that I did not want to be part of it, but because it had just gone too long now, I had to stay with it, over collaborating with Vivek. There is another challenge that has happened. Individuals and interactions have been forgotten, but processes and tools are being followed. PMBOK guide. Processes and tools. Guys, after requirement, we have to go to analysis design. If I don't need analysis design, why waste my time on analysis design? Why can't we go to development? So, but but because this is the process. Analysis. After that, we have to develop. Guys, cannot we just develop and test simultaneously? Why do we have to start another phase of testing? No, we have to do it like this. Testing followed by Vivek. Vivek says, I could have just come in here during testing. When they were testing, I could have done my UAT, would have saved so much time. No, this is the process. So one of the values of Agile is, comes from this same scenario that I built in front of you. It is focus. We will focus on our individuals and continue to have interactions with them over following processes and tools. So one of the top principles, number one value of Agile was, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Interaction with our key stakeholders is the key to success over following a process and tool, because processes and tools only create a product, they don't become the voice of the customer, right? So first value, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Second value is working system over comprehensive documentation. Third value is collaborate with customers over contract negotiation. Now look what happened during UAT, because a customer, Vivek's competitor, had a website. In the website, customers could go and they would buy things, and when they were buying things, customers would be like, if you like this, you may also like this. Have you seen Amazon? If you like this, you may also like this. Sometimes we end up buying this because of their artificial intelligence, right? If you like this, you will also. Vivek likes that feature a lot because he wants to sell more products. He's been already so late. He introduces a change request. This change request, because of the processes and tools, takes so long. It's 21 months, and this another 2 months got added just because of this feature that Vivek wanted in the website before they go to stay competitive, because it was so late. Without this feature, this product will not be competitive at all. No one will come and buy this. So instead of 21 months, this became a 23 months project run. In 23 months, Vivek, instead of spending $1 million, he spent $2.1 million. In 21 months, his product is inferior. It is not the voice of the customer. So evolved the fourth principle, which is called the most powerful principle. Fourth value. We're only talking about values right now. Fourth value, which is called the most powerful value. Responding to change over following a plan. So conventional approach is plan heavy. That's why waterfall is called plan driven approach. You create a plan and you stick to the plan. Like in the beginning, I said, projects cannot run in vacuum because the world is not in a vacuum around us, right? There are market conditions, there are competitors that are continuously hitting us. We got to respond to them. Responding to change over following a plan. They said, At the end of that meeting, after 3-4 days, they had put down a white flip chart on the it was just a simple flip chart on the wall. This flip chart had these 4 items listed on it. Number 1, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Number 2, working system or software over comprehensive documentation. They have steered away from using the term working software because Agile Mindset is not just about IT-based projects. It's about every project in the world right now. Third, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Contracting in Agile is limited to the near-term work. You have the ability to see the performance and accordingly decide based on the performance whether to move forward or not with the same person. Number 4, responding to change over following a plan. They wrote this down on a flip chart, and in the bottom there was this fine print. They said, it's not we don't value things on the right. That's not what it is. It's not we do not value things on the right. We do value documentation. We do value contracts. We do value processes and tools. And we do value following a plan, but we value things on the left a little bit more. That's what it said in the bottom, right? We do value everything on the right. However, we value the things on the left a little bit more, and hence came the 4 values of Agile. This is where it came, the 4 values of Agile. So, guys, life is not always about driving a slideshow. It is not about a slideshow. Of course, it's not about a slideshow. It's about a life scenario and establishing fundamentals over memorizing things, right? That's why Agile has been embraced the way it has been embraced. This is the standard. You can call them 2,000 pages. You can call them thousands of pages of experience dumped into 4 lines. Really, that's what it is. That's why it does not require 780-page standard. This is thousands of years of experience, thousands of years of failures, thousands of years of burning the money, thousands of years of not remembering the customer, thousands of years of all those failures have led to these 4-line statements, right? Trillions of dollars burned has led to these 4-line statements. That's why that level of, level of adoption, institutionalization, and internalization has taken place. That is the reason. That is the primary reason for that, right? So are we all good with the 4 values? Do we understand them? Do we all agree that the outcome of the failure Vivek's project is this listing of these 4 values?
Yes, Hemant.
Yep.
Right? So there we go. We don't have to memorize this. It's not for memorizing. If you went out there reading this book on your own, you will try to memorize without understanding. This is the reason. It was their own failures from their projects that brought them together. They were 17 very experienced people, super experienced. They have developed Scrum. These are the people who ended up developing Kanban. These are the people who ended up developing a couple of other such approaches. This group of people who wanted to attack the status quo. The whole idea was attack the status quo, right? Attack the knowledge that has been created, because this knowledge is not a scripture. The knowledge is not scripture that has been created in heaven or somewhere. It has been written by us. People like you and I, and all of us are flawed. Will continue to remain flawed, but the idea is continuous improvement. Now, look, I'll tell you now something. So these are your 4. Time is 12:26. So 10 more minutes. Now together we are going to brainstorm but we are going to start this time brainstorming. So we are going to come up with 12 principles together. I don't want you to drive the slides up and down to look for the principles. Then the purpose of this exercise is going to be defeated. So please do not look into the next slide to answer the question, right? So we'll come up with the principles, and I'll give you the first principle. So we have 12 values, and together we are going to come with the principles without cheating, going into the next slide and looking into it. That's not our goal here, right? Goal is to learn. So the first, exam question, ACP exam question. The most important principle of Agile is attaining the highest level of customer satisfaction. So Vivek's frustration, each and every frustration that Vivek has is Agile's principle. This is how you have to think. All of you are the business owners like Vivek right now and are going through what has just happened in that website development product. Customer was not satisfied here. He got the product, but they were not satisfied, right? Customer was, that's why they say we deliver the products, but our customers actually, where is it? Right here. There, right? 14% are successful, right here. That is the reason 14% are successful, right? Rest of them have failed or they have been challenged. This project, maybe it did not fail, but it was extremely challenged project. So now let's come up first principle of 4 values. The first principle is customer satisfaction. First principle. Okay, let's go to Akshi. Akshi, tell us about the second principle.
Maybe it's based on the most powerful value about change.
About change, how do you change like what?
Like adapting to the changes, like if we have to constantly, I guess, review the changes and adapt to those changes.
Okay, how about you start thinking about adapting to the changes? Okay, all right.
Like sort of change management.
Okay, think about the 4 values that I put in. From there, we need to pick up things, right? It's all coming from there. So
yeah, so responding to the changes.
Absolutely, managing changes is one of the, responding to changes is one of the principles of Agile. Responding to change. Okay, all right. Let's go to Vivek. Vivek, tell us about what are the pain points or what are the things that you would have liked to be changed.
I would have liked the login to move up and things like that, and I want my featured products to be seen up in the front versus down at the bottom where the scrolling is going to be more.
Okay, apart from so that's about the product, but that could have been changed had this would have been a little more for you. There was a little more engagement, or things have been verified with you at different times, right?
Yeah.
And constant verification with you would have helped. So if they created the first mockup, if they brought the mockup to you and you said, no, not like this, but this, during the design itself, you would have corrected them, right?
Yeah. So ongoing interaction would have been helpful to manage the expectation.
Ongoing interaction, and yeah, absolutely, ongoing interaction, constant verification, ongoing interaction. Okay. All right. So Hamza, how about you? What do you think? What else
So I guess we're collaborating in silos, right? So we have like different teams doing different things. So none of them were aligned at the beginning of the project till the end of the project. So
co-located
no siloed
teams,
work.
face communication could have helped too.
Yes.
Right. And the second point that you said was business owners engagement, continuous engagement between business and the team that will perform the work would be good too. Yes. Continuous engagement between business and the teams would help. right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's keep going to Kumaran. Kumaran, what do you think? Think about the first slide that I said. Think about the first slide that I said. I presented the first slide. I wrote down something.
Value delivery.
No, think about the first slide, the Steve Jobs slide that I put on the board.
Oh, simplicity.
Simplicity is the key. Imagine if instead of delivering, right? I gave you the example of Hakka Chinese restaurant with 782 items. I think there are more than 782 items on that menu. The one that I looked at was just ran into pages and pages. So with or Vivek could have said, guys, don't worry about 62 products right now. Can you please give me my top 5 selling products? First of all, it will save me cost. Secondly, I won't have to wait till 23 months. You can give it to me in 3 months so that I can start selling that product in the market, and that money that will come will pay for my website. Imagine this is what Agile is all about. Your product is in the market and the product is paying for the product. That is the mindset we are talking about. Banks are not crazy, or IT companies like consulting firms like Deloitte and all these, they're not crazy firms. Their IT segment is not crazy. They're not gone insane. They have seen the value generation that's happening because the products are paying for the product, because of the speed to market. How soon can we get to the market, right?
Right.
So then we let's think about more. Let's go to so that was Kumaran saying simplicity. Let's continue moving. Gorangana, yeah, there we go. We have Gorangana. Gorangana, think about something that could have been changed here.
Having the minimal viable product early, like not waiting for 24 months to.
Very good. Or delivering working software frequently. Delivering working system frequently, right? Absolutely. Constant verification, let's say delivering working software constantly. Okay, all right, great, awesome. So what else? Let's go to Jamshed. Jamshed, how about you? Tell us about one of the pain points. Tell about one of the good things that could be included here.
So the only thing I haven't heard and I was thinking was, did we have the right people? Is the team?
Yeah,
but I don't know how to put that as a principle.
That's how you put it. Motivated teams who are self-organizing and self-directing. This is how you put it.
Okay.
You need these kind of teams. Motivated teams who are self-organizing and self-directing, plus another principle that they came up with, ability to deliver indefinitely. Deliver indefinitely at a sustainable pace, right? It is not unsustainable. It is not unsustainable. I can't sustain it. People burned out. Finding out what is sustainable for my motivated team, but indefinitely, moving there indefinitely at a sustainable pace. Your ability to deliver indefinitely at a sustainable pace where enjoyment, fun, everything is taken into account, right? Sustainable piece. That's why I always say people get excited, and we all get excited on New Year, on 28th of December. We start getting excited that New Year I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm not going to change this and this and that. But is that sustainable, right? I spent 2 hours running. First day I went and I run on the treadmill. I want to run fast. But next day, oh man, my legs are hurting. But you could have just walked for 10 minutes today. At least a start would be nice. Next day, 12 minutes. Sustainable pace is very important, right? What can I sustain? So Agile is based on a very simple philosophy of life, which is life is not an event. Life is a process. Product is not an event. Product is a process. If product was an event, Amazon would be created 25 years ago, and today it will be the same as what it was 25 years ago. BlackBerry was an event, and look at that event, the way that event collapsed. They thought we could sustain ourselves with BlackBerry the way it was. Look what happened to that company. When I was in the US, we used to love to carry BlackBerry here. It was a sign that I am a leader in the organization. That's why I've been given a BlackBerry. That was what it was in 2003 and 4 in the US. The bloody thing has disintegrated so bad. Something that the world embraced, lost. Why? Because it was an event-based company. Event took place, process failed. So Agile is an event. So there we go. So we came up with some of the principles. We will come back and look at the 4 values and 12 principles now, the way it is listed. But the idea was that we know what these principles should be, right? We know what these principles should be, but the idea of one of the principles is striving to attain excellence, right? As simple as that. Develop an approach where we strive to achieve excellence, right? I to design can only happen when there is voice of customer. That's another principle. So there are these principles that have been created. Face-to-face connect with people is extremely important. Interactive communication is extremely important for success of any product. That's another principle, right? There's so many principles that have been created. We came up with it together, right? So there are 4 values and 12 principles. We'll take a lunch break for about 35 minutes, and then we'll come back and we will go through some of the slides until 2:45 or so, right? 2:45, whatever we can cover. And then on Thursday, you will have a review with Rachel, which is a must for all the people who are going to pursue ACP. I actually encourage everyone who is doing PMP to pursue this together. It is just for people who do PMP. This is going to get you 50%. 50%, they are just here. These 5 lessons are going to put you through 70, 80 questions for PMP also. So this is the future, and embrace the future today rather than struggle with it when everyone has got it. Then we are getting it. Get it when no one has it, when few people have it. PMP, 1,100,000 people right now as of today. This is getting there next year. This is getting there next year, right? Next year, there will be 1 million people who will be ACP, because the power of ACP is so strong that it has changed so many people's career. Dave got ACP when there were only 3,000 people. His journey from a business analyst to a senior director in RBC has been because of ACP has played an extremely important role in his career, right? In 2010, I became the first Agile certified professional in RBC. The first person in Center of Excellence, when the Center of Excellence said, there you go, Hemant, there is a certificate. Next time I'm going to show you that RBC certificate from 2010. 2010, right? Almost 11 years have passed for me to have been thinking about this process of Agile. Some of you are just integrating into it. So please, next 6 weeks, make it a mission of your life and turn this around and get this done, because this will be for your future. All right, let's take a lunch break, and we will reconvene at 12:25. So let's make it 12, sorry, 1. Let's make it 1:20. A 40 minutes break is good. Is 40 minutes break good, guys? Is everyone with me up till now? Are we guys? Everyone is with me. We are together here on this. We're understanding the concepts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when we come back, we are going to start with. We will start with the next few slides. There are about 20 more that we will cover, but some of the slides are going to be a little complex, so we'll have to pay attention. So come refreshed, right? Have a great lunch, and I'll see you soon. So as we discussed in our previous session before lunch, the four values of Agile Manifesto. They're the 4 values. In the exam, expect no questions from here, by the way. This is not what the exam is all about, memorizing this and going out there. But what do you expect in the exam? You expect in the exam scenarios built around when people are not engaged in conversation, when our customers does not get engaged in our conversation, what happened? The vision that is followed is distorted vision, right? So the idea is to continue to remember the future. Working product, the idea is to develop the product quickly, very quickly. So questions revolve around these ideas here, right? And these challenges. If you understand the values, you will invariably choose the right answers. There is nothing like a wrong answer here. You will choose the right answers, right? So there are seven domains of Agile, like for example, value delivery, Agile principles, and you get tested in the exam on those 7 domains. Very, very simple. And if you know the mindset, you will answer the question. So let's not try to memorize it. So as we came up with, the 4 values: individuals and interactions over processes and tools. We saw how in a conventional approach, there was process heavy, it was tools heavy, and we were forgetting about the interactions that we needed to have with our end customer. Then working product over comprehensive documentation. It was all about documentation. Started with project charter, moved into stakeholder analysis document, moved into business requirement document. From business requirement document, a project management plan originated. If you look at the project management body of knowledge, and it continued. We just continued creating 10 management plans, and this plan and that plan and all that plan, and just documentation. But this is not what the customer needs, right? They need a working product, service, or result. So customer collaboration. Don't get bound into contract negotiation. If you guys remember, folks who have done PMP, remember your developed project charter process? Hamza, do you remember your developed project charter process? Manish, do you remember the developed project charter process?
Yes, Hemant.
Remember one of the inputs of developed project charter process? What was one of the inputs?
Business case was one of the input of the.
What else? Are all projects performed by internal organization, or sometimes the projects are performed by external organization? There was another input: agreements. Remember?
Right. Yeah.
Remember? Agreements right in the beginning of the project. We got bound to an agreement. Right here, look, this is where it comes from. Our stakeholders, our customers, our sponsors get bound into contracts right at the initiating, right? If you think this is what they're trying to tell us, don't get bound into contract. Rather, have short-term agile contracting. Idea of responding to change. Remember, if you wrote the PMP question, remember how many questions came from change control board? Change control board this, change control board that, change request. Every 7 questions seems like a change request question on the exam. In the rigor of change management, request comes, then you do impact assessment, followed by the impact assessment, fill up the change request form, then submit it to change control board, then change control board will approve, reject, or do what they need to do, then update the project manager. Look at the rigor. 2 months pass sometimes on a critical change request because of the impact assessment that we need to perform. That is the challenge. To overcome that challenge, these values have been established, right? So the 4 values, and right here it says Jeff Bezos' statement: if you build a great experience, customers tell each other about it. Word of mouth is powerful, right? So customer satisfaction is the one and the first principle of Agile. Customer satisfaction. So from those 4 values comes out one core principle, the number 1 principle, and this is on the ACP exam. What is the most important principle of Agile? Customer satisfaction. There is nothing more important than meeting customer expectations and trying to actually not meet but surpass customers' expectation, right? So, and then when we were all, when we were all growing up, Jeff Bezos was setting up one of the greatest empires, right? He was driving a UPS truck to a UPS store to make some delivery. He was driving a truck to a UPS store to make some deliveries. Just 22 years ago, all this happened just 22 years ago, 23 years ago, right? And And he has 22 years ago, when the company started growing a little bit, he established something called the 2 pizza rule. Said very simple. He said it's very simple. If a team can consume, if a team size has increased to the extent where they can consume more than 2 pizzas, it's time to break that team. What does that say? An ideal team size is 7 plus minus 4. 7 plus minus 4. That is the ideal team size. A company like Amazon, which is so big, they execute. They have a company called Blue Lagoon, the rocket company. They are not only doing agile-based projects, they're doing every kind, but the mindset is agile. I will not let a department size to increase beyond, or a group to increase beyond 9 people. Simple philosophy, because then the organization starts becoming people start having pillars in the organization, and it is poisonous for the organization because information hoarding starts. Agile, so the first principle is customer satisfaction, but there is a key thing here. Idea is to share knowledge. Idea is not to know, just to know for one person, right? The idea is your ability to share knowledge rather than just to know and keep it to yourself and hoard knowledge. So keep that in mind. The entire exam is based on this philosophy, right? So customer experience is the first, and then customer satisfaction is the first, and then there are these other 11 principles that kind of like continue to map to the satisfaction. And we came up with some, and let's see what they say here. Customer satisfaction, the #1 principle. Welcoming change, unlike Vivek's project, where a change request for you may like more projects, you may like some of these other products. Took 1.5 months. Here, the moment we see that our competitor has a change, we can immediately integrate into it because we are iterative by nature. Frequent delivery. Give an opportunity, as Vivek said, I didn't get to see the product at all. Give an opportunity for them to frequently see the product. And the idea is, why frequent delivery? You know why frequent delivery? So that there can be constant feedback, whether the product is meeting customers' expectation or it's not. That's why frequent delivery, the meaning of frequent delivery is not fast delivery. That is not what it means. Why we want to do frequent delivery is because we want to bring the product in front of the client and give them an opportunity to see it, witness it, and provide feedback so that we can improve it. That is the reason behind iterations or incremental delivery, right? Provide an opportunity to your client to witness the product so that they can provide feedback. Feedback is what is going to lead to improved product, better product, high quality product. The other thing, face-to-face contact and co-located teams. Why? Conversations become easy, resolutions become easy. We had so many challenges working when I used to work for Sun Life, and there were offshore teams. The email, we needed something very urgently. The email will go out on Friday till Tuesday, and you won't get a response because of the time difference. It was a big challenge, right? And you wait for some critical information. But when you start co-locating your teams, or when teams start having more of an interactive, it is face-to-face, they say, but the idea is interactive communication. Interactive communication. Face-to-face is not possible all the time in the current scenario, in the right now pandemic, but face-to-face, when we say face-to-face, ideally face-to-face, keep it interactive. Interactive means real-time communication. Real-time, right now. So what is happening right now? Real-time, right? Maybe it is not face-to-face, but try making it real-time at least. And even with distributed teams like what we are having right now, distributed teams also work like how we are working right now. And if you see, I can challenge people right now, for all those our past students who used to come to our class, I can tell them that we have had more success running Online sessions, understanding among people have been better. They're more focused than in a classroom setting, because in classroom setting you get distracted by other people's moment. Here you are, and your coach and you can have one-on-one connection if you want, if you're focused, right? It works really well. So the idea is face-to-face communication. So there will be times when you will work on agile approaches, teams will be distributed. Try to make this interaction as real-time as possible, sometimes by using video conferencing. You can make it face-to-face then, video conferencing, right? That's the idea. That's what it means, this principle. Then develop the working software. Bring the tool out, bring the system out, bring the process out. Don't just wait for 5 years. Focus on what the client needs. Client needs a solution, so give them a working solution. Understand your pace. Don't go, do say hyperbolic. Don't go at a rapid pace in the beginning, and then the team burn out. You know, I know so many teams. I work with so many teams that get too excited, and after a month they slow down like anything. Then they are like, that's the worst speed. I don't want this kind of velocity. They lose their velocity. So maintain constant means sustainable pace indefinitely. Sustainable pace indefinitely, right? Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then simplicity, as I said, simplicity, a key to have simplicity and continuous attention of our team members. And someone said, when we were discussing, someone said, I don't know how to put this. And I said, yeah, the teams have to be motivated. They have to be self-organizing, just not self-organizing. They also have to be self-directing. And self-organizing and self-directing teams are called empowered team. This is the key to building. Empowered teams are key to building a high performing team. When they say creating a high performing team, how do you create? You collect, you gather motivated set of individuals, right? Motivated set of individuals. You know, the idea of experts. Okay, if let's go to let's go to Kumar. And Kumar, you did your PMP, right? So remember, in PMP, every process, all 49 processes, Kumaran, had a common tool and technique. All 49 processes had a common tool and technique. Do you remember the tool and technique?
Not by heart. It'll take some time, but yeah, I can get back to that.
No, just so all 49 processes had one common tool and technique. Who remembers it?
Expert judgment.
Expert judgment.
Very good. I was in Rangna, I know who that was, but expert judgment, right? What does that mean? Expert judgment means I-shaped individuals. They are I-shaped individuals. They are masters. And this is very poisonous for an organization. You know, I don't know how many of you are working on projects, but sometimes subject matter experts, they hold the project team hostage because they have the knowledge and they don't show up in the meetings. They don't show up because they are I-shaped. They are experts. And they hold our projects hostage. And you want, hey, could you please come? I can't come. I'm busy with the operational meeting today. I'm busy with senior management team meeting today. I don't have time for this. Knowledge, that's what it is. Idea of what we know. Idea of being awarded for what we know is a poisonous idea. It leads to creation of experts that are I-shaped. Agile creates a self-organizing and motivated team by creating a T-shaped individual. Experts in one and generalists in others. They're called generalizing specialist. Generalizing specialist, right? So in the exam, you will find questions around empowered teams. Empowered teams are self-organizing. Empowered teams are self-directing. Empowered teams, they are called empowered because they do not get impacted by one person leaving. The other person, a team, is learning from each other. They are more like T-shaped. They know about their area really well, but they also have knowledge about others. How does the team become a specializing a generalizing specialist because of co-located environment. Because they work in co-located environment, they become T-shaped individuals. And it is a very unconscious, it's an unconscious effort. The idea of co-located team is to create generalizing specialists, T-shaped people, so that they are experts in their area, right? For example, I acquire Anmol for business analysis expertise, but I want him to be a good system analyst. I want him to be a release manager for me. I want him to be a little bit of Scrum Master, a little bit of everything. And how is he developing that? Because he's working in a tight co-located environment. What does it do, co-located environment? So Anmol is sitting on his desk. Manish is sitting here and having a conversation with another developer. Anmol is doing his work here, but there is this relay of information that is taking place, and in the subconscious state, Anmol is consuming the information, not intentionally, not that he is giving it an ear and saying, let me just hear what these guys know. It's a very unconscious effort, and it's called osmotic communication. Osmosis has taken place. So in the exam, there are questions around this. The idea of co-location is not because it makes teams very powerful and they communicate. That is not the idea. The idea is what I just told you. The idea is to naturally create individuals who are experts in one area and understand other areas really well, which makes the team nicely diversified. And it does, one person leaving the organization does not impact the team's performance. More than that, learning takes place in an unconscious manner by a process called osmotic communication, where the team member is listening, right? So many times people do not know how to print, but someone just says that they have heard it, it's registered here. Next time they go and they print it and they come back. Automatically learning has taken place, right? So that regular reflection is key in Agile. Regular reflection. We deliver small delivery. Guys, let's just wait for 1 hour. Let's talk about what is working well in last 1 month, what is not working well, and what are the opportunities for improvement. Then the team goes for another 1 month requirement analysis, design, development, launch. 1 month, small little delivery happens. Then they say, guys, half an hour. Let's sit together, understand, let's have a quick retrospective. Regular reflection or retrospection, right? So many times we live our entire life and we have not spent half an hour thinking about what did I do? What am I doing right now? Where do I need to improve, right? All this. So this is what is Agile philosophy for you. 4 values and 12 principles. They do not come from anywhere. They come from an experience. They come from experience of some people. They put it together, and when you think about it, it just sounds right. This sounds right. So many times when you read PMBOK guide, you say, what the heck, man? My organization doesn't do this. This is just too much, too many processes, right? Doesn't make sense. But here, it does make sense. Yes, this is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to do. Having a mindset like this will lead to better results, is the idea, right? There we go. So we come back to this. Let's dive into one of these practices. So now we are getting into a core practice, and we're going to start with one of the practice called Scrum. We're going to start here. But before we go to Scrum, I will present to you Kanban right here. And those 3 questions from Kanban. So don't read to get Kanban, right? Kanban is, what is Kanban? Kanban, all of us will do this exercise together. Kanban is a practice that has evolved from 4 values and 12 principles, right? It came from the concept of lean. Lean means making processes efficient, understanding bottlenecks in process, right? Understanding redundancies in process, understanding inefficiencies in process. That's what lean is all about. Lean is about progressing towards more efficient processes. Lean is about progressing towards less redundant processes. Lean is about identifying bottlenecks. And most importantly, lean is about identifying areas of improvement. We want to know what redundancies are there. We want to know what inefficiencies are there. You want to know what bottlenecks are there, and we want to know this so that we can address them. We can improve it, right? So Kanban. So in the ACP question, one of the questions is Kanban is based on some kind of a philosophy, and the philosophy is visualizing the flow. One of the exam question is right here. A practice of Agile which is based on visualizing the flow. Kanban is your answer. Or, right? What is visualizing the flow? Visualizing the flow is this. I have requirements. I can create this flow. Then I will do analysis. After analysis, we will develop. After development, we will test. Then we will deploy. You visualize the flow. This is how my product will be created, right? You visualize the flow. Now 74 requirements were dropped here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 74. Oh. Go back there. So there were 74 requirements here, right? So team, first of all, what they did was 74 requirements, they prioritized it. This is the work that you have to do before you can kick Kanban in. You have to prioritize your requirement. What is important? Now the team is set of experts. In Kanban, you cannot have intermediate resources. They are all experts. Another exam question. An approach, a practice of Agile that believes in experts, motivated experts, right? These are all experts. With the product owner who owns this requirement document, the product owner owns the requirement document, as I said, is responsible for prioritization, sits with the team of experts and prioritizes all these requirements in the order, ranks them. What is important, most important, not so important, and least important. All these 74 requirements from Vivek and the team sat together, and Vivek told them what is important. He was the voice of the customer. He prioritized it. Now that happened. Now started this team, these 7, 8 people that are working on the team. They said, because they are self-directing and self-organizing, they said, guys, look at this. How about we put this work here, bring it here. Let's give, he wants the home page, Vivek wants the home page first, give him this. Vivek is saying product 7 is the second priority, is the hottest selling product. Bring this here and give him another product and give him the 7th item, contact page. Bring it here. Pull system. In the exam question is an approach or practice which is based on pull system. So team is pulling the work. So look, they pulled it. These are experts. These are motivated people. They're pulling the work. And they said, we are delivering homepage, guys. We are delivering the product number 7. We are delivering, let's perform analysis on product number, let's say 9, and let's do contact us page. These are the 4 things we are working on now. They did the analysis and then they moved homepage to development. The moment they moved homepage to development, in analysis, there were 3 left. They added 1 more from here and 4 analysis started. And from here, 1 more went here, 1 more came from here. So let's say they said we will develop 3 things: homepage, product 7, and product number, and contact us. 3 things are here right now. Then the moment homepage got developed, it moved, it got pulled by the testing team, and 1 more product from here, which was in analysis, came here, and this continued. So what did you see here? There is no such thing like time or time box event. They are experts. They are not lazy people. They exactly know what they need to do, but we are not going to bound them. We are not going to bind them to a time frame. Like in Agile Scrum, the other practice, everything is time boxed. 1 week for this, 3 hours for this, 4 hours for here. These are experts. We don't need to bind them into time frames. They would do the best to get the work done. It is based on pull system. One item moves out of the queue or one section, other item get added from behind. So the process continues. One item goes from here, another item comes from here. Team tries to see, what does the team try to see? Team is at some point of time, team understands that they can work on not 3 items. Next time they'll try to work on 4 items now, or 5 items. They try to attain that optimum state where work can happen at a sustainable pace, not a breaking, not that electric pace. What is sustainable for us, right? So items get delivered like this, and we can continue pulling them. At some point in time, team realizes that in development, we can only have 4 items. In testing, there can be up to 6 items. In deploy or analysis, we can have about 10 items. So they kind of like figure out the entire flow. So Kanban is based on visualizing the flow, right? The concept of Kanban originates from lean approach, lean method, right? And it is based on a pull system. There is no time boxed event here. There is no time boxed event here. And most importantly, Kanban requires experts. You need to be an expert to be working here, right? If you remember this, you'll get all the 6 questions right on Kanban on the exam. This is what it is. Now, let's make it a little simpler for all of us. Kanban. Let's make a Kanban board of the, for example, my Kanban board or your Kanban board. This is what the other day I was listening to an interview from Elon Musk. This is what he said. He said, my morning starts with the Kanban board. That's my first thing. Every morning when I get to work at 8:15 in Austin, Texas right now, my first thing is to look at the list of items, my Kanban board, he said. He said his Kanban board goes like this. There are 3 columns in it. There is this huge list called to-do list. Then there is something called work in progress. And then there is something called done. So if you look at my list, or if I look at my list, I will go crazy if I continue to look at this list, because this list confuses me and my priorities shift. And because of they say, are you a multitasker? In Kanban, multitasking is a sin. Multitasking is called task switching. And trust me, multitaskers are the worst performers. They look good in the beginning. After that, all the work that they're working on remains incomplete from day 1 to the last day of the project. This is the classic story of a multitasker, right? They do not complete. So Kanban is a philosophy where we don't constrain people by time. We, as and when we complete one item. So this is what we say. See, I've got all these different items. There is emails. There is this design that I need to review for the rocket in a day. I need to review Tesla cars architecture. I need to create a new design for a component of a rocket, right? His designation in SpaceX, the space company, is a lead designer. That's what he doesn't call him a CEO. He says, I'm a lead designer. So he moves some items every morning to work in progress. Only when one item from here goes here is when another item from here arrives here. So idea is to focus on certain things, get them done, and move to the other. He continues to pull the work, and then when one item goes away. So look, what happens in Kanban is this one question is, it is based on pull system. Second question is, task switching is the greatest sin because it leads to bottlenecks, it leads to inefficiency, it leads to incomplete work from the beginning to the very end. All you have started in various different components, but every component is incomplete. This is sometimes project managers join into a project, and what they find is work packages incomplete everywhere. What this project manager does when he comes is says, I have to do a lot of cleanup, man. And guys, calm down a little bit. Let's look at the 3 work packages which are incomplete first. Let's finish them. Only when we finish them, it takes a month to clean this up, right? What does cleaning the system means? Who is a great administrator? A great administrator is a person who starts completing the tasks, not start many tasks and continue them in the start status all the time. It never ends, right? So Kanban is all about, now in the exams, from exam standpoint, a team, these, now we said, so Simran, we said these teams are what kind of people they are?
They are experts.
Absolutely, they're experts. So if they're experts, these experts are working and they have, Sandy, what kind of pace do they have?
A sustainable pace.
Sustainable pace. They are working on, they're experts and they're working on a sustainable pace. Good, everyone is listening. Amazing class, right? So now look what happens in the exam. Question is asked, this team is feeling very stressed lately. This team is feeling extremely stressed. Options: the PMBOK mindset, recreation, team building exercise should happen, this should happen, that should happen. Kanban, what do you guys think? Amandeep, what do you think? What should happen? The team is feeling extremely stressed, and we just said this team is expert, they're experts, and this team knows the sustainable pace. So what's happening here? Look at this board, to-do list, work in progress, done. When do you get stressed in life?
When you focus on the to-do list, I mean, you want to do all the tasks at once.
Or when the items in the queue called work in progress have increased considerably and the team is feeling it has gone beyond them right now. Fair?
Right.
In the exam, that is the question. Reduce the items in one of the queues. Team is experts. They know the sustainer. They don't need to go out and have a lunch party right now. They are experts. They are motivated. They don't need a lunch party, right? Which is good having that. But the idea is, can we reduce? I think we need to reduce the work in progress because it is causing unnecessary stress. And these guys are experts and they do work at an indefinite sustainable pace. If the team is capable of performing work without telling them at a sustainable pace, why are they stressed? 90% of people on this exam choose the option because they bring the PMBOK mindset, PMP mindset, conventional mindset. They choose team building exercise should be done to reduce the stress. No, look at the work in progress. Reduce this, right? These people who are experts do not need team building exercises. They make $100 an hour. They can entertain themselves really, really well. They're highly paid on Kanban teams, right? Good Kanban teams are they're experts. So they don't need all that. What they need is they need to work together and see what is the right amount of work. Does that make sense, guys? Do we agree?
Yes.
Good. Everyone
Yes.
understand? Okay. All right. So how about I ask Japneet, why don't you quickly summarize what 4 or 5 points from Kanban, please?
Evolved from lean based on the philosophy of visualizing the flow. Most important step is prioritizing, and you need experts who can work at a sustainable pace.
Very good. Who was that?
That was Jamshed. Sorry, I thought you asked me.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Question was for Japneet, but the name just.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But the answer was great. Let me just say this. Answer was really good. Exactly what I was looking for. So great answer. So Japneet would have given the same answer too. So awesome. So guys, if you're listening to me, and we are already seeing what happens in an interactive session, we start consuming knowledge very quickly, right? You're witnessing consumption of knowledge. Very, very important. And you don't have to really start. So we just kind of like destroyed Kanban here from exam standpoint. We got it. You will read it. You will enjoy the read. There are about 70 pages that we are sending you. You are going to love the story. The way Mark Griffith has put this together. So this book that I'm sending you, I ripped it apart. So I ripped my own book. I scanned it and I created scans of every chapter for you. So I create 7 chapters, right? I got it scanned for you. The book is from Mark Griffith. What a nice book. I enjoyed reading that. So one of the books that I enjoyed last year a lot. Good information. Starts with, initially we were food gatherers, wanderers, then slowly we settle down. Like a story, goes like a story, builds on a story, makes it interesting, and gives you exercises, do. And then at the end of the chapter, you say, I really enjoyed this. This was good. I learned a lot. I think I can consume this knowledge and use it somewhere. That was the idea. There are lots of grammar mistakes in the book, but who cares? There is knowledge, right? This is the key. This is the only book that we are reading. That's it. Nothing else. All right. So let's look at the second important approach, and let's check the time once quickly. It is 2 o'clock. Yeah. Okay. So about 45, 50 more minutes, whatever we can cover, and then we will just break off. This is Scrum, right? It's a rugby approach. All the teams, they unite together and they move forward, right? Team form design. So Vivek remains in the beginning during requirement phase. There is a designer with Vivek. Vivek is the product owner. There is this Scrum team in the beginning itself during requirement phase. And there is the Scrum Master or the Agile coach or the Agile project manager in the beginning itself. From requirement, they move into whatever their flow is, right? Let's just say analysis. Together they move here. The vision, Vivek's vision never gets lost. Then they move into development. They're together, co-located. Then they move together here, designing products together, right? In the beginning, we said those 3 things: cross-pollination, concurrent engineering, and deep collaboration is taking place. That is why Apple creates the phone that they create. That is why you like picking up their iPad. That's why when you look at a computer from Apple, you know it is from Apple, because the lines they create in it, the beautiful, designs, beautiful keyboards, everything is sleek. How? Because of this. Concurrent engineering, cross-pollination, deep collaboration. Keep that in mind. We are going into the next practice called the Scrum, right? I'll show you some visuals, and after that, I will whiteboard it for you. Scrum is based on what are the values of Scrum, right? Is here. There's some value. You don't have to memorize all this. This is not required for the exam. Not required. I've written the exam, so I know. This is not required. This is just when they wrote Scrum practice from 4 values and 12 principles. So the person who, or Scrum Alliance, or Scrum Study, or International Scrum Institute, or Scrum.org, 4 different, they are not governing bodies, but 4 different money-making bodies were started from here. 4 values and 12 principles, and they put together 4 certifications. Someone called it Scrum Master, the other person called it Scrum Master Certification, someone else called it Project Scrum Master, all total complete BS going on. It's a 0 value designation right now. It's not considered a designation. Anything that you can get in 2 hours or 6 hours of study is not called a designation, right? So what are the things that I like here about the value system of Scrum is courage. Courage, because it requires a lot of courage. So let's say Kanwal wrote a document today. Today she's writing a document. I said, Kanwal, could you please show me the document? Kanwal can say this to me. Well, Hemant is not complete. How about I do it tomorrow? Or she can say, yeah, of course, it will be great. Your feedback is welcome. It will help me make it a little bit better. It requires a lot of courage for her to take her product and show it to me in an incomplete state, right? It requires a lot of courage because she should be open to criticism. She should be open to criticism. And that's what Scrum is all about. Get our product criticized, verified, validated from the beginning itself. Constant validation and verification will lead to an optimum product in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 runs. So courage, one of the values: commitment, focus, openness, and respect. Don't memorize it, not on the exam. not important, right? So basically, there are 4 pillars of Scrum: transparency, inspection, constant inspection, adaptation, and 3 pillars: constant, so transparency, inspection, and adaptation. Right, 3 pillars of Scrum. Not important. You can read it, and then Scrum Principles. So what I'll do is I will here maybe add a Scrum. So we'll just add a slide here, and we will talk about Scrum a little bit. There could be about 6 to 10 questions on the exam from what we are just discussing. Slide right here. Scrum. Look, we said waterfall, predictive, sequential, or plan driven. They all mean the same. And the flow was a requirement followed by analysis and design, followed by development, followed by test, followed by deployment or product release. This is right. Waterfall, I say this is mother of all methodologies, right? If you know one sauce in Indian cuisine, you can make all the sauces, right? Similarly, in Italian, if you know one dressing, vinegar and oil dressing, you can use it to create mayonnaise. You can use it to create a French dressing. You can use it to create almost every dressing from there. How much oil and vinegar needs to be adjusted. This is what it is. Everything came out of this. So now look what happens. Agile also, so let's just put it here like this. Here we have, in Waterfall, we have a requirement document that gets created here. Here, what do we create? A prioritized, some kind of prioritization takes place, and a smaller requirement document which will be delivered as part of the project gets created. What gets included in the scope? Not all 74 requirements, Vivek's 74 requirement got delivered. Subset of a requirement document got created, or the requirement document got split into inclusions and exclusions. Inclusions, the requirements that were included, got handed over to development team. Development team created the product or the service or the result of the project. This got handed over to testing team. Testing team wrote their test cases. They wrote their test scenarios. So they wrote their test cases, they wrote their test scenarios, and they did their testing. And they verified the product. They verified the product. And then the product got deployed. Right? Different things took place. Now look at Agile. Just like how in Waterfall we had a requirement document, in Agile you need a requirement document too. You need a requirement document. But in Agile, we call the requirement document a product backlog. This is the first thing you need for Agile to kickstart. If you do not know the requirement, what would you develop? So you need a product backlog, which has some high level priority established. So you have, right? So requirement document, Venkatesha, requirement document contains, what does requirement document contain?
The needs of the customer.
Or the requirements of the customer, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Product backlog also contains the needs of the customer. It captures the voice of the customer. And those are called the stories of the user stories. So requirements in Agile are called user stories. Product backlog is a simple template which contains the name of the user story, what is the priority of the user story and the description of the user story. That's it. That's your product backlog. Very simple. You can build it in a tool called Confluence or Jira, or you can make it in a simple spreadsheet with 3 columns, right? So product backlog is nothing but it is a requirement document of Agile. It's a requirement document. Product backlog gets created. Product backlog contains some high-level priority. Now what happens is when the product backlog has been created, right here, this part is called sprint 0. This is called sprint 0. Sprint 0. Now requirement phase, remember Vivek's frustration went on for 3 months. Here sprint 0 has been ideally time boxed to 4 to 6 weeks. So Vivek tells his stakeholders, guys, you have 4 to 6 weeks to fill up this product backlog with everything that you want to voice about the product, right? Voice to the customer. He is asking his customer, guys, you have 4 to 6 weeks. Then don't tell me after that I included, but even if you forget, come back. I will take it if it is high value requirement. So try to give me whatever you have right now, but don't worry about it. Unlike Waterfall, where change is a nightmare, I'll handle it, responding to change over following a plan, right? So he's also telling the customers, I am here for you. So even if you forget, come back, we'll include it. So there we go. Now really starts the sprint. And in Waterfall, we call it analysis and design. Here we call it sprint planning. What happens in sprint planning? The product owner, so there is this product. So who owns the product backlog? The product owner owns the product backlog. They're responsible for the priority. They're responsible for the value delivery. They are the voice of the customer. They start sprint planning. They start here, starts at the new prioritization starts. And the team, the product owner plus the agile coach, you can call them agile project, PMI likes to call them agile project managers, PMI likes to call them agile coaches. PMI can one question, only one question may call them scrum master. Only one question out of 120, right? So at these agile coaches, product owner, and of course the team, the agile team or the scrum team, this high performing team, this come together here during sprint planning. They look at the product backlog and they drop some item from here and create a mini product backlog. And this mini product backlog is called the sprint log. So some of Vivek's requirements like homepage are here now. His product 7, which is the hottest selling product, contact us page is here. And the sprint planning is 4 to 6 hours or 4 to 8 hours. That's it. Look, this analysis and design in Waterfall took 2 months. Here, 4 to 6 hours. Team has selected 7 or 8 items that are extremely important for Vivek to be able to create a product that supports the voice of customer, and he would try that this product generates value because it will be shippable. That is the idea right now, right? To be in the market. So now the team, so this development team who is getting to interface with the product owner, unlike the previous phase where product owner is not included anymore, this Scrum team is asking Vivek, all right, Vivek, homepage, we'll create it for you, right? We'll create it for you, but can you tell us 2 or 3 things that you really want in the homepage that would help us build it the way you want it? Or what is it that would take you to accept the homepage? So Vivek says, to accept the home page, number one, so this is all happening during sprint planning. They're sitting for these 4 to 8 hours. Vivek says to accept the home page, as long as it is in English and French. Number one criteria. Number two criteria, there should be no grammar mistakes. Number three criteria, please maintain the format of our current website, or please maintain the format that I've provided you. As long as you give me these three things in the home page, I'll accept it. Look, the development team already knows what the client wants because they are interacting with the client. You guys see what is happening here? That they are visualizing what the client wants right here. They're visualizing it and they're writing down what is it that Vivek wants in the product, so they're going to build it. This is called test-driven development, TDD. So another approach, test-driven development, is based on writing test cases even before development starts. So the development team exactly knows what they are developing. Test-driven development is an approach. So another approach that came out, one was Kanban. What is test-driven development? This is what it is. When you capture the requirement, also capture the test cases on which you will test the product, right? Now in Agile, this is called acceptance and evaluation criteria. So sprint planning is about prioritizing the product backlog to create, number one, sprint log. Number two, work with the product owner to develop acceptance and evaluation criteria, which is called the definition of done. Product owner provides the definition of done. Good? Are we good with me? Everyone? Now the team moves into the next phase. In Waterfall, it is called development. It is no different here. They just call it daily stand-up or Scrum. Now look, they're going to Scrum together now. Work to build the product. That's what they pictured. This rugby picture. Scrum together. Scrum together. Stand up or Scrum. Now, stand up or Scrum. Scrum is the development phase. What is the team doing? Team is looking at the sprint log. The team is looking at the acceptance and evaluation criteria, and they have started building the website. And they say, here you go, home page. Here is the product page. And under the product, here is our first product, product 7, and here is the contact us page. There is a time here, they're doing the work, and they're making sure that all the work that they're doing is being tested by them based on the acceptance and evaluation criteria or the definition of that, right? And they say, ready, ready. Yes, no. Hear me, not hear me.
Hey, Hemant, now we are able to hear you.
Now,
Yeah, I think we lost you for a bit.
okay, when did you lose me?
10 seconds.
Ready was the last thing I heard.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, very good. So if you heard ready, development team shouts ready. Anywhere between so if they decided 1 week to 4 weeks, right? They said our stand-up will be 3 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, they say ready. Ready means your home page, your product page with product 7 and contact us page has been ready. It has been tested based on the acceptance and evaluation criteria provided by Vivek. It's done. So Vivek, why don't you come with your team and start doing the review? Why don't you come and start doing the review? So Vivek comes. Vivek is already witnessing this product because this is cross-pollination. This is concurrent engineering. He's already seeing all what is happening. So he comes, looks at this website, home page, product page with product 7 right now, and contact page. And what does Vivek do? He looks at homepage and says, I said, let me click on it. He clicks on it, said French, English, great, pass. Second, he says, content, I provide grammar, no grammar, pass. I accept it. And then he says, format, everything the way, pass, 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 pass. He says, what does he say? He says, done, done. Or my definition of done is met. Definition of done is met. This product can either be shipped to the customer, or this product can be stored somewhere, and we can do similar run, one more run from here to here, one more run, and add some more and make it shippable. But after that, the team quickly, so this sprint review is another 4 to 8 hours. Team meets for a retrospective so now the next stage is a retrospective. Team meets for 2 hours to quickly learn about what did they do well, what did not do so well, and what are the opportunities for improvement, right? Opportunity number 1 for improvement, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Retrospective takes place. Now pay attention to this from exam standpoint. Retrospective is constant improvement. The idea of constant improvement comes from retrospective. Retrospective leads to the team giving, this is team, not stakeholders. Unlike conventional project management, lesson learned is not done by stakeholders. It is done by the team, product owner, agile coach, and the team. They did the work, so they know exactly what worked well, what did not work so well, and what are the opportunities for improvement. Now there are a list of opportunities opportunities for improvement. Team says, guys, I think 3rd and 4th is something we'll take right now from here, and we will go back again to sprint planning, and we will start creating another sprint log, keeping in mind point number 3 and 4 right now, right? We'll create another set of acceptance and evaluation criteria. We will give Vivek product number 9, 11, and 17 in this run, get it reviewed, and this time Vivek says, ready, let's go in the market, place it in the market. Within 1.5 months, the product is in the market, right? Product is being promoted, and the money is coming in. Some of the money has started coming from the product itself. The team continues this run, sustainable pace indefinitely. And this product continues to evolve till one day when this product will be put to sleep. Otherwise, products never end. The modern product development is not an event. It is the process. And product, they continue to evolve these products. Can you guys still hear me? I see some pop-ups here that okay. All right, so there you go. Okay, so there are 4 events in Agile Scrum: sprint planning, stand-up, sprint review, and retrospective. The sprint 0 is nothing. It's a 0 value event because it is about documenting client's user story. So they can call it ceremonies. How many ceremonies are there in Agile Scrum? 4 ceremonies. Or this journey from here, here to here is called a sprint. It is called a sprint, or PMI likes to call it iteration, right? One iteration. So to create a product, you will need numerous iterations, but the product does not need to wait for 23 months. The product is ready in a month and a half in front of the customer, right? What is minimum viable, what is minimum marketable is another story that we will get into value delivery when we get into later chapter. But for today, I wanted to give you an overview. So we know what Kanban is, we know what Agile Scrum is, right? What happens in Agile Scrum? One more time, sprint 0, creation of product backlog. Now let's look at some other nitty-gritties a little bit. Now let's just say let's say right here, Vivek comes here. This is the third sprint that's going on. Vivek comes for a review and finds a defect in one of the requirements. And in 4 to 8 hours, this cannot be resolved. So Nikhil, what do you think will happen now? Vivek comes and he realizes, he finds a defect and now knows that in 4 to 8 hours, this cannot be resolved. So what happens now?
In this case, the defect will form the part of next sprint and it will be a high priority item at that point.
Very good. So in this case, what happens is the team still delivers whatever they needed to. The defect that was the user story that could not be completed comes back and get dropped into the product backlog. Again, the sprint planning will start, and if the product owner feels that this is still important, will be added to the product backlog and will be resolved next time. Are we good with this concept? Now, as I said in the beginning, projects are not executed in vacuum. So Rahul, this question is for you. Projects are not executed in the vacuum. In a vacuum, is that true or false?
Sorry, I didn't catch the last part.
So projects are not executed in a vacuum. True or false?
True.
True, absolutely. Now, market conditions are changing. Competitors are bringing in new features. True or false?
True.
So you are in the sprint right now, right? You are in stand-up. The 14-day period has started. You're working. You're developing. Suddenly, one of the competitors has come up with a new requirement, right? And this is very important for the product too. What would you do, Rahul, based on Agile philosophy?
I would sit down with the product owner, and if it's that important, I would bring it in.
No, the work that has been decided will only that work will be performed. In 1 week, the world is not going to change. Next 2 weeks, right? So what they do is any such requirement, when they are handed over to the team gives it to the product owner, and in the next run of sprint, if the product owner feels that this is important, they prioritize it and put it in the next sprint log.
That was my second guess.
Yeah, that was the right guess. The second guess is the right guess. So absolutely. So you do not disturb the momentum of the team, because in 1 to 4 weeks, the world is not going to change. The good thing is we are looking at the competitive forces that are changing around us, and we are accordingly adjusting our product. And this is not possible when we get bound into a contract itself, when we write a project charter. It's not possible, because IBM, the Deloittes, the Accentures, they are waiting for us to initiate a change request so that they can burn us right there at that time, right? Iterative approach of development leads to understanding those forces that are changing around us and adjusting our behavior accordingly, right? Good. So there we go. So sprint zero is not a phase of Agile. This is the pre-work that needs to happen to start project development. But everything, Kanban is not time boxed. This is time boxed. All right, guys, now I will take some questions from you.